The Who was an English rock band that was formed in London in 1964. And as you can see, the band was actually popular back then. This one actually included the Rolling Stones and the Beatles, which were the bands that actually sang in the 60s. So today I will be talking about who are the Who band. Apparently, there's not much information to know about who are the Who members of the Who band. So apparently, if you ask my dad who is the Who band, he will know because when he was very young, he has heard of them, but he never listened to the song. So today, I will be talking about who are the Who band. So let's start. The Who band was actually formed in London in 1964. The classic lineup actually included the singer Roger Daltrey, who was the lead singer, guitarist Peter Townsend, and is also the guitarist, the bass guitar and singer John Entwistle, and Keith Moon, the drummer. Over the 20th century, they've sold over 100 million records worldwide, and they use rock music for the development for the Marshall stacks, in the large PA systems and the use of synthesizers. So apparently, first of all, I'm going to talk about the past members who were in the Who band. Firstly, Doug Sandham was actually the first drummer. Right here, he was actually the first drummer for the rock band The Who. So it was actually known that he's been playing the drums and was hired for 2 years until he retired in 1964. So apparently, Sandham left the band and gave a month's notice. He left in April. So eventually, it was the Who's Carrier and they were playing Detours around the mid-1962. Sandham, who joined as a drummer, was in his late teens, and he was in his early 30s. And at the age, caused different problems with the band. He was out during the late hours at night. And during Valentine's Day in 1964, they were actually discovered that there was another group on the Detours. And that's when they changed their name to the band name The Who. Eventually, Doug Sandham left within a month in April. Keith Moon was hired, but I will have to tell you about that one after I finish saying these stuff. Apparently, Peter Townsend described Doug in these words. I'm not really going to say it because I just do believe that it's going to get really, really messy. I'll just say he apparently outstudied the band, which had Townsend not aware of this time. Unfortunately for the singer, the drummer. Sorry if I say singer. I'm getting mixed up with all these names. So apparently, Sandham passed away on February 27, 2019, after his 89th birthday. So after Sandham's departure, Keith Moon apparently played the drums. But I actually have to show you this. I'm gonna have to say this. Keith apparently was hired to be the drummer of The Who, but he actually had a very, very destructive behavior. And he's very eccentric. I'm not really gonna say what he did, if there's anything which is related to these kinds of inappropriate stuff, these stuff D words or so. I wanna actually keep it not for kids, but I'll just say that I'll just keep it the way as it is because I don't really want to know and I don't want to get into trouble. So let's just keep this video friendly, even though I'm not gonna change it to yes, it's made for kids. So actually, Keith joined the band back then. He joined once Doug left. So apparently, he joined the Who in 1962. So apparently, there have been some problems with Keith. So you see, Keith was apparently destructive. He began drinking a lot. And he also had an addiction to stuff. I'm not really going to say is it really the D word, because I want to keep this family friendly, as I mentioned. So apparently, I'm just going to say this. I'm not really going to read all this because it's going to take a lot of time. So apparently, Keith John Moon was born on August 23rd, 1946, in Central Middlesex Hospital in northwest London, to his parents, Alfred Charles and Catherine Winifred. He attended Alfred's secondary school, and when he was a boy, he was very hyperactive. He failed his 11 plus exam, which I do believe the 11 plus exam is in the 7th grade, or it's actually in the 6th grade. I'm not mistaken, but if you're in the UK, you can just tell me what it is, because I never knew what is it all about. He had a fondness of the Goon Show. So, as you can see, the Goon Show is apparently a British radio comedy program. It's originally produced and broadcast to the home service. And it's a British show. It's very old. I don't really know if I watched it or not, if my dad watched it, or I can ask him maybe next time. So apparently I'm not going to say this because I want to keep this one as the way it is. So apparently Keith began taking drum lessons at just 14 years old with his drum teacher. Firstly, he wanted to join the Sea Catacombs at the age of 12 to play on the bugle. So the bugle is actually a simple brass instrument right here. So he practiced the drums there and teaching the basic skills of the instrument. He dropped out of school at just 14 years old in 1961 during Easter. So apparently he enrolled himself to be a radio repairman, and he bought his very first drum kit. So apparently Keith joined the Who band. So the future bandmate Pete Townshend described him as very, very ginger, with the ginger version. So here it's actually known that Keith loved to play the drums, but sometimes the Who had a really, really bad destruction on instruments every time they're on the show. I'm not really gonna show the footage because I do believe it's copyright, and I really don't want to get into trouble. So let's just keep it the way as it is. So I'm just gonna continue. Apparently, for that, in 1973, Keith passed out on stage. Eventually, Scott Haplin took over his place. Eventually, I'll just say this. Scott apparently died of cancer in 2008. So apparently, I'll just say Keith apparently took too much of drinks at a pub in England. So apparently he's heavy drinking or so. And then in the Hotel Inn right here, I'm not really going to go through all of them because I just think it's gonna be some time. So apparently Keith destroys instruments. Because of this, Townshend smashed his guitar after breaking it accidentally. Moon apparently kicked over his drum kit, and he put gunpowder into one of the bass drums during the Smother Brothers Community Hour in New York. Apparently, none of the bandmates died, but only suffered minor injuries. And that's his drum kit right here. It's the Premier's drum kit pictures. Moon used it for 2 years from 1967 to 1969. So apparently, I'm not really going to go through that much. Apparently, he passed out on stage and had financial problems. And also in the Flint holiday, in in accident, Keith ended up in a food fight, and I do remember that he began to throw cake. And one time he drove a car into a swimming pool. There was also one accident where Keith threw the TV back in the Berlin Hotel in Germany. Eventually, in the end, the Who bandmates actually experienced some financial problems due to Keith's behavior. So we just go through this. According to Tony Fletcher, Keith's birthday was supposed to be on August 23rd, 1947, but this was corrected by him because it was supposed to say he was born in 1946. And I can't show you the video for Keith's death date because it's copyrighted. And again, I was saying is just try to use your idea. Don't copy any others. You can tell a story if you want, but don't try to copy exactly like the video did. So apparently, guys, there is an error in this video right here. Keith died at 32, not 31. So apparently the hotel that Keith was in with his girlfriend, Annex Walter, was actually Mama Cass, aka Cass Elliot, from the Mamas and the Papas. Therefore, she died in 1974 at just 32 years old. She was almost 33 at that time. And apparently, Harry Nielsen rented this hotel before he left America. So apparently, for Keith's relationship with Kim, apparently Keith began very, very violent. But eventually, Kim apparently divorced him. And he married Ian McLagan, who was the Faces keyboard creator. So, actually, Annex Walter Lex, who was a Swedish model, she was a former Swedish model, and she could actually handle Keith, if I'm not really mistaken. So apparently, there was actually no reason. So he and Annex began to date for at least 3 years before Keith passed away by then. So apparently, in the end, Keith apparently killed his friend and bodyguard Neil Bollard back in 1970. And Moon was crying, saying that he regrets it and he was being guilty for doing this kind of stuff. And apparently this is the reason why Keith would do these kinds of stuff. Not to say he wants to go to jail. I know, because he actually went to jail back in Michigan after having a food fight and doing some destructive things. But luckily it was only for the night. This case, Keith did not go to jail because it was ruled as an accident. I'm not really going to say something like that, but let's just continue. In 1978, in September, Keith and his girlfriend moved to flat 12-9 in Curzon Place in Shepherd's Market, Mayfair in London, which is renting from Harry Nielsen, Cass Elliot of the Mamas and Papas, who died at just 32 years old, almost 33. So apparently Keith had some medicine, but eventually the last words, I'm not really gonna say that because I do believe that I really forgot to do this, so sorry. Let's just keep this one keep this one appropriate. So when Moon actually replied like this, if you don't like it, you can leave. Instead of saying the word right here. So when Annex Walter wanted to cook him steak and eggs as the breakfast, that was the last word that Keith said before he passed out and died. So eventually, Keith apparently just had so much of these things that apparently he probably wanted to do the things he wanted to do. So next up, we have Keaney Jones. After Keith's death, Keaney Jones was the drummer from Small Faces and The Who. So Keaney Jones was the drummer back then. However, he apparently retired, and Jones' final appearance was the member of The who received the achievement reward for the 1988. Not really going to say that British phonographic industry. So apparently there are some reunions with the Who band. So apparently in 1979 there was a Cincinnati tragedy. The British band The Who flew off to Cincinnati to perform the concert. However, 11 people died, and this is due to overcrowding, and there was a stampede. I'm not really going to show this video because I do believe that this video is not going to be featured here, so I'm really going to just tell like the summary of them. In 2002, when the Who band flew off to Las Vegas, Nevada, John Entwistle was found dead in 2002. So apparently, John Entwistle was also known as the Ox or Thunderfingers. There was also a nickname called Big Johnny Twinkle or the Quiet One. John was an only child. His father Hubert, who passed away in 2003, played the trumpet, and his mother Maud played the piano. But after he was born, the parents' marriage failed after that. When John actually joined The Who, eventually Roger Daltrey fired all the members, and Entwistle wasn't fired. But he was a semi-pro player, apparently. So apparently, I would just like to say this. The Who's concert was actually scheduled to perform on June 28, 2002 in the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino Paradise in Nevada. However, another Who member had passed away. John Entwistle. He was found cold and unresponsive, and apparently he had heart disease. Because of this, I'm not really gonna say cigarettes, because I do believe that I wanna keep this one short, and apparently I don't want to get into trouble, so apparently I'm just going to say this. After 2002, Pete Townsend and Roger Daltrey began to perform as a duo. Since Entwistle and Keith's death, since Entwistle's and Moon's death, Pino Palado was on the bass, Starkley was on the drums, and Simon Townsend, who was Pete's brother, was on the second guitar, and performed the band Who with a symphony orchestra. So apparently, what songs are there in the Who band? Well, the songs are there in the Who band are Baba O'Reilly. So as you may know, the Baba O'Reilly song was actually featured in the Peanuts movie in the trailer. Unfortunately, I cannot show you the song because I do believe it's copyrighted, and I believe that I'm gonna steal again, so I really don't want to show this video. And The Kids Are Alright, which was the song that the Who began singing. Apparently, the song was actually from the Simpsons episode, which I forgot what was it. So apparently I'm not really going to say that episode. It's because I actually do watch The Simpsons that often, and I know the Who are there. And apparently, it's the release of the Who Are You album, which was overshadowed by Moon's death suddenly. So apparently, I'm not gonna say that much, but that's all I have to say for who are the Who band and who are the members. And I'm just really gonna like do the summary about who are they, what are their songs, and what are they doing now. Because I noticed that Roger Daltrey and Pete Townshend are now a duo, since some of the members either retired or either died. So apparently, I forgot to do this video because apparently it was John Entwistle's birthday. He would have turned 77 this year if he was alive. So apparently I'm not really gonna talk that much, and I'm not really gonna discuss like too much about the band. So anyways, this is Wheeling the Tomboy Gamer signing off.